Also monitoring Hurricane Jerry in the Atlantic Ocean, getting closer and closer to the Caribbean, although the storm has been weakening significantly. A lot of the storm activity around the center of circulation just kind of disappeared early this morning. Now it's starting to show back up, but this really doesn't look like a hurricane from the satellite perspective. It is, with 85-mile-an-hour sustained winds. That's lower than they were this morning. They were at 105, making it a Category 2 hurricane. It's back down into Category 1. It's going to track to the west-northwest. Conditions aren't very favorable for it to get its act back together. In fact, it's probably going to weaken even further and drop out of hurricane status for a little while over the weekend. Let's switch from the current view over to the forecast path from the National Hurricane Center. It's going to skirt just to the north of the Leeward Islands, this island chain that marks the entrance to the Caribbean, to the north of Puerto Rico, but it's still going to bring some heavy rain, some gusty winds to the Leeward Islands and to Puerto Rico, hopefully with minimal impact. It does weaken to a tropical storm by late tomorrow, continues to the west and northwest on that path and in that status as a tropical storm before it re-strengthens. Once it turns to the north, the conditions become more favorable by early next week. Becomes a Category 1 hurricane again and tracks right towards Bermuda. Looks like Bermuda is going to have to deal with their second hurricane in less than a week after Humberto moved through earlier this week. Talking about Jerry moving through by the middle of next week as a Category 1 storm, but saw some wind damage as Humberto moved through, so that island really could use a break instead of a very close approach from yet another storm. And there are a few other areas we're also tracking in the tropic. Let's take a look at this one in the Caribbean. Kind of looks impressive with that cluster of storms, but they aren't very organized. Just a 10% chance this even becomes a tropical depression over the next few days. A little better chance of this area of disturbed weather, which is to the southeast of Jerry. Here's Jerry, and then here's this area that has a 30% chance, 1 in 3, of becoming at least a tropical depression as it tracks towards the Caribbean, probably by early next week. The other one is still actually over land right now. The red X is still over western Africa, but as it emerges into the tropical Atlantic, a good chance, 70% from the National Hurricane Center's estimate, that it becomes at least a tropical depression, if not a tropical storm. The next name on the list is Karen. If any of these areas of disturbed weather manage to get their act together and actually become a tropical storm. With all that action in the tropics, completely the other side of the coin for central North Carolina. Calm conditions across the area, blue skies, low humidity, and pleasant temperatures. 72 degrees in the Triangle, 72 degrees in Smithfield. Just looking good everywhere. Low 70s all around the Triangle, 72 in Durham and Chapel Hill, 73 in Knightdale and also in Cary, 70 on the nose in Garner. Just a little warmer farther south, mid-70s around Cumberland County. Temperatures will warm up to a greater extent the farther south you go. 81 for Fayetteville, 82 for Rayford, but at or above 80. It's a couple degrees below average for our southern counties. Upper 70s along the Virginia state line, even some mid-70s farther to the west of I-85. Feeling like early fall. And fall officially arrives on Monday, but it's not going to feel like it at that point because temperatures are going to be warming back up as we head through the weekend. If you're heading out to any high school football games this evening, the weather looks fantastic for those. Just perfect weather right through the uprights. Temperatures at kickoff in the mid-70s. Halftime, it's going to be cooling off down into the 60s, so a sweatshirt, maybe a light jacket, bring that with you because you won't need it at kickoff, but you'll probably want it for the second half of play. The nice weather continues into the weekend, even though we are gradually going to warm up. We'll still start in the 50s each morning, mid-50s tomorrow, upper 50s on Sunday, and then we warm up each afternoon by about 30 degrees, which is a lot. Mid-80s for highs on Saturday, upper 80s on Sunday, and here come the 90s again. Not talking into the 90s, but just touching 90 degrees in autumn, which officially arrives Monday. That's hot enough. We're going to be flirting with record high temperatures by Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and we're talking real low rain chances, not just for the 7-day forecast, but all the way through the end of September. So if your lawn's getting a little crunchy, you're going to have to get out and take care of that yourself. Mother Nature's not going to do it for you.